Just when it seems that everyone starts to dart Larry Johnson, he picks back off where he started and reminds us just of who he is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ohio State and the voice of college football. I am your host, Garrison Gaddy. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All the Buckeye news you could ever want is right here throughout the week, Monday through Friday. We'd love to have you join us, but let's get to it. So Ohio State goes out and gets four-star defensive lineman Damari Simeon out of Richland, New Jersey. Very good player, on as high as number 7 on 3 in the recruiting rankings, but overall number 26, ranked 201st in the nation. Which, for anyone that doesn't know, that's still very good. It's the type of players that you still want to bring in. He's still a blue chip player, right? Four-star guy. Out of St. Augustine Prep. Really good player here. We're talking about, guys. Very strong also. I think he squats about that was like 600, squats around just over 400 pounds. Very strong and long kid, type that you want to have on your D line. Before we get watching some of his film, I would like to give you some more info about him. Last season, 28 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, an interception, a forced fumble. Again, he's the type of player, I think, that when you get him in the room, you do have to do some development with him like you do everyone else. But he has so much potential there. He plays defensive end usually for his high school at St. Augustine, but really good chance here. He's kind of like a guy like Edric Houston, where you can put him inside or outside. He has that size, and he also has the speed and strength for it. So we'll watch him right here. See him there on the edge right there on the 3 tag. But just look at him, just quick with his hands. That's the type of stuff you like to see right there. Guys, oh my God! See, when you get a guy like this, and I played DB in college. Those are the type of guys that get you interceptions. And as we say that, there you go. He gets his interception. Good job on reading that. Good job on that, Damari. But he's the type of guy that can make the job really easy for the rest of the team, specifically in the secondary. When you have guys that can play inside or outside, but they get penetration very easily up the front, especially when you watch Damari, because he cuts a lot to the inside. So meaning that he's able to get towards the guards, and usually when you have really long arms, you are a mismatch for guards. So just like Edric Houston is, not saying that he is Edric, but he has a lot of potential there. I think that when he gets to Ohio State, you're going to see him more towards the inside again. 275 already at 6'3". Just tack on an extra 15, 20 pounds, off the strength of it. We're talking close to 300, right? So I think that he's going to be a really good player for Ohio State. I think that when the time comes, after the senior year, of course, and hopefully, Damari, you have a great senior year. Truly can't wait to see what you do this season and watch the highlights from that. But I think that when you get him at Ohio State, especially for a defense that Matt Patricia runs, that's very multiple, bases out of the 3-4, which means you need guys that have size but they can move, i.e., someone like a JTT, right, or Edric Houston. So I think that great get here. I think that this is a guy that Ohio State had high on their board. We did have high on our board. We were battling other top-notch programs that, truthfully, all 3 of them, being Texas, Penn State, and the team up north, they all produce collegiately and at the NFL level when it comes to defensive linemen. So very excited to have him here. Another portion to talk about, Larry Johnson. So if you caught the show on Monday on Ohio State prime time, you catch it every night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I backed off a little bit from my Larry Johnson critique, and a lot of the reasons from a few conversations I had with guys that are in the know, guys that talk to players, talk to coaches, have relationships with them. I start to look at the operation of the team, and I think that when people looked at the defensive line recruiting of the last few years for Larry Johnson, it was very easy to sit there and point at him, right? Of course, when you're paid like he is, and when you have the expectations that the fan base has for you, it's going to be that way. But I do believe that with Larry Johnson, losing Alan Clark, who was the assistant of his last season, and him having to do the full recruiting for the defensive line, for the edge rushers, and he is getting some help from guys like Matt Patricia. Not some guys, but the defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, who's been on the trail, not on the trail, but contacting some of these guys. Also, a few players. That one player we're trying to flip right now from Florida. But I do believe that Larry Johnson continues to do a great job. Again, you can't just look at the stars when you're looking at these players. You got to look at fit. You got to look at their metrics. Look at what they bring to the table. I think that when you look at Damari Simeon, he is a player that I think Ohio State is trying to move towards. Kind of like if you watch some of the old SEC teams. Actually, you watch some of them now. You're talking very big linemen, not to the 330 range, but that 280 to 300 range that are long, tall, and they move very well. And I think that Damari Simeon is one of those guys, and I credit high credit to Larry Johnson, the OG, for getting a players of his caliber. A guy that's most definitely going to have a chance to move up the recruiting rankings. Again, number 26 overall and 201st in the country, and as high as number 7 on 3. Now, to end here, now what's it gonna look like for the rest of the class, right? So Ohio State right now, this gives us 2 defensive linemen, one being Kerry Wilder, the other being now Damari Simeon. Some of the other names that Ohio State's going after: Deuce Gerald's, one of the most highly sought after. I wouldn't just say defensive lineman. I think players. I think that Deuce Gerald is one of those guys that he's still ranked pretty high right now, but I think he's going to shoot up the charts, especially after this summer when some of the videos we've been getting to see of him. He looks like an elite player right now. Deuce Gerald looks like an elite player that's going to, I think, possibly get to that really high 4-star to possibly get in that 5th star. See what happens there. But Ohio State very much in play for him. Would love to have him in Columbus. Emmanuel Ruffin. Another guy, down south kid, but very big player. I think that Ohio State, if we want the class to be what we want, we have to land those 2 guys, including Cam Brickle. Now, Cam Brickle, 3-star player, another one that has a lot of size and a lot of good athletic ability for his size, but lower on the chart, more of a developmental player. But I do think that Ohio, I think we said we wanted 5 guys in this class on Monday, we believe, what Ryan and I said, my co-host. And that would be Kerry Wilder, Simeon. That would give us 2. We get Deuce, Ruffin, and Brickle. That gives us 5. If Larry Johnson's able to do that and get that done, I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic because I think those are the 5 guys that you get in this room. You've got something cooking there over the next couple of years. Now, Ohio State currently ranked 5th in recruiting rankings. USC number 1, Notre Dame number 2, Georgia number 3, and Texas A&M number 4. But we all know Texas A&M stays up there for no reason, so it's okay. But look, guys, 2 5-stars, 13 4-stars, 3 3-stars, average at 92.93, 267.62 overall score. I believe that this Ohio State class is doing a great job right now. I think that when you look at the overall, I don't want to say product because we haven't seen the full product of this class. If we look at overall of what's in this class, from wide receiver to running back with favorite key. Now we're seeing the defensive line recruiting start to pick up. Not to mind you, Tyler Bowen's been doing a great job on the trail for the on the offensive side for the offensive line, getting a lot of commits right there. But again, I think that Damari Simeon is going to be one of the diamond in the roughs of this class. Again, 6'3", 275, really strong player, really fast player, really quick twitch, has a great mind. Again, when we saw the interception earlier, for him to see that screen coming, not get too far, not get too deep behind him, but stick where he is, and then you saw how long he was able to go up and get the ball. Again, impressive athlete, impressive player, impressive kid. Can't wait to see him on Saturdays in Ohio State. But until then, I hope he has a great season as the rest of us Buckeyes do. Again, everyone, if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel here at the Ohio State, the Voice of College Football, to see all the content that we have from myself, Ryan Stano, Mark Rogers, Terry, and Mike. We're all here for you guys, and we'll love to have you be part of the Buckeye community. And as always, OH, IO.